Hello, Lee. Welcome. It's episode 4. You've just told me because I didn't know. And season 2 of Fab Life with Lauren and Lee. Welcome back to the studio.
It is. When do we stop saying season 2?
Next week?
It's that thing. It's that thing. It's a bit like, when it's New Year. When do people stop saying Happy New Year? When do we stop saying season 2?
I think
the very
say
question
it
I've asked that maybe. What, Happy New Year?
Yeah, someone was like, "Oh, Happy New Year." I was like, it's not that.
Absolutely not. It's not. It's March. Fuck off.
Yeah, what have you been doing for these last 2 months,
They've been in a coma for January.
They thought lockdown hadn't ended and they were like, "Oh."
How are you?
I'm going to move this down, sorry. And that was me moving my mic down, in case you're listening. I'm good. I have been quite hungover. Just put some makeup on, so I'm feeling good. Feeling a lot better.
You've really struggled, haven't you, this weekend? You've had a real struggle of a weekend.
Yeah, do you know what? I might just not drink for this weekend coming because I can't do the hangovers anymore, Lee. Like, I just can't do them.
Really?
I think it's more the anxiety more than anything. I just never used to get that, and now I get it, and it's just too much.
Because I get anxiety sometimes after drinking, but it's generally if I feel like I've done something wrong, I'm worried about it. But I know a lot of people get it in terms of like they just have this general feeling of anxiety. Is that how it is?
Yeah,
how does it feel?
I don't get the beer fear. I just get that like. It's like here, you can feel it on your chest and you're like, I might have a heart attack in a minute. And it's not about anything because I can normally remember more stuff, me. But it's just general, like, a feeling of unrest, Like you don't know what's going to happen. And then, like, I'm quite good at rationalising it for myself because I'm like, your day's fine, you know what you're doing. But it's not unrational, irrational. So it's like getting over that, I know there's nothing to worry about, but you just
yourself
have to
out
wait
for like
for it to
a
pass.
walk or something? Does that help?
Yeah. Do you know what? The sun, because the sun is back. The sun is back out and with us. That really helped yesterday. Going a walk round the pond. Went and got a frothy coffee from the bagel shop. The bagel shop. Oh, I still can't talk. Honestly. And I've had a bit of a cold, so I don't sound my best. So appalls for that.
Oh, well, I also had a bit of a heavy weekend, but so I did a bottomless brunch on Saturday, and we all know they are dangerous.
Sure.
But I did it at a place called Kettner's in London, and so their
We tried to get in. We couldn't get in, Lee. We had to go somewhere else. Fuming.
Oh, nightmare. It's probably because we'd booked all the tables. There was a big group of us. Of us.
I saw that pic. A lot of people.
So I've done that before. And whereas with the bottomless brunch, obviously, you generally get like unlimited Prosecco and maybe now and then like a kind of watered down spirit. In Kettner's, you get absolutely pretty much everything cocktail wise, and it's such good value for money. And obviously when I'm doing a bottomless brunch, I'm like at least gonna break even, but usually I'm trying
you actually earn money when you go to get
make my money back. yeah So I kept doing this thing with the group where before we got there, I was like, okay, guys, listen, I'm going to be throughout the night making announcements to drink water. And when I make that announcement...
You've changed. You have changed.
I know. And do you know what that is? It's not to like sober up, but it's to ensure that the next day you're not as just dying from the hangover.
It's the management, isn't it? Hangover management.
Hangover management. That's what this episode is all about. It's about managing hangovers in your 30s. Because in my 20s, I could just get up. I mean, in my early 20s, it kind of went a little bit downhill.
Quickly.
But you could just get up, and I could have a frapp. I used to get a frappuccino. I remember, like full fat frappuccino, coffee frappuccino, the next morning, and I'd be like ready to drink again. Anyway. So I kept doing these water announcements, and I then
good.
got very drunk that I started forgetting to do the announcements. So everyone was going, Lee, announce the announcement. And I'd be
They're
like,
parched.
yes.
They're like dehydrated. They're like,
Yeah. Or they were just like, you're screwed. You need to drink water.
yeah. We're not going to get in this next bar.
Towards the end of the night, we ended up at my friend's. We went to bar. Well, no, because then what happened is we went to karaoke. So we had a bit of a myrrh, as Scylla would say.
Myrrh. How did you have a myrrh? What happened?
So, well, we booked karaoke box after Kettner's. So we finished bottomless brunch at around... Oh, they extended us as well. They gave us an extra 20 minutes. So we got at least 3 more drinks out of that. Loved that. We were high from just the fact that it was just so
That's 2
fantastic.
cocktails.
We were like,
that is 2 cocktails, 20 minutes.
It was. Anyway, so we had booked karaoke box, which was round the corner for 6:30. We were like, perfect. So we ran up and I was like, I'll go first, get the room, because I was very excited about karaoke, as you well would guess. I get there, and you know when they're like looking down on the sheet, and they're like,
It's taking them a bit longer than it should, and
it's
you're like,
taking them longer.
Dread.
Surely our name should be there. Yeah, and we booked it ages ago. My friend Mikey, because it was his birthday, he booked it. So then Mikey's up, and I'm like, Mikey, they say that we don't have a booking. So he's like, and he shows us. He's like, I've got the booking here. So I'm like confident it's all going to be good.
Yeah,
so he shows her this this booking on his phone, and she just goes, she gets the phone, and then she just passes it back to him with her finger like pointing, and she goes, it's the wrong date. He'd booked it for the day before.
Oh no. I've done stuff like that before, like trains and stuff, and you're so confident and cocky, and you're like, no, it's not. And then you actually look down and you're like, oh, fuck, that's next week. There's nothing worse because you're so confident and like, oh, God, at least it didn't kick off.
So then Mikey was really upset just because and the trouble was it was 6:30. So it's not like we could just go. Well, I felt it was that kind of ghost hour where we can't go out to a bar because that's where we'd have to stay all night.
Yeah.
We're all shit-faced, and also it's 6:30.
Yeah.
So I was like, what do we do? And I was thinking, it's Saturday. So Lee to the rescue. Lee just thought, I've got to sort something out. I could feel those songs sliding from my grip, sliding from my vocal cords. I had a full set. It was basically an audience with Lee Peart planned.
Yeah. You pre-booked. I'd rang ahead.
I know. I'd rang ahead to check they had my backing tracks. And anyway, luckily, I rang round the franchise of Karaoke Box, laid it on thick, and they got us this room for 7:15. So by the time we travelled all over there, we had to go to Smithfield in London, which was only about 2 stops on
I didn't know there was more. There were more ones.
Oh, there's more. Yeah. So we got there, and we managed to get into karaoke. So we did that. So we were loving life. Thank the Lord.
Toss.
And then we ended up in a bar in Soho. And then we ended up at my friend's house. So I get to the friend's house and I'm just like, I've drunk excessively today.
Yeah.
So what did I do, Lauren? I get your application for Pride of Britain Award ready to fill out after I tell you this.
Let's get the pen.
I started drinking tea.
It's a dark day if you drink tea sober. You don't often have a tea. You're a coffee guy.
I know.
When I offer you a tea, you're like, oh. But when drunkly, loves a tea. There you go.
Well, I do like a tea, actually, but I'm more of a coffee guy. So I got in and I thought, if I have a coffee now, I won't sleep. So I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to have tea. So I ended up having 3 cups of tea while everyone else was just loving life, drinking gin and vodka and everything, getting on it. And I was just sat going, guys, I'm drinking tea. Like they should award me. And so the next day I had 0 hangover, but I was exhausted. And sometimes that's worse.
That is worse.
Because it's like you almost can't validate your own exhaustion.
Yeah, you almost would like just prefer to have a headache. You could just take a cheeky paracetamol and it'd be gone. But when you like can't get your eyes open, that's really frustrating, isn't it? Yeah. Oh God. Well, I'm ever so proud. Ever so proud. And you would have still been drunk as the tea was kind of like hydrating you. So you would have just been like still. That's quite nice sometimes when you have like a Coke or something at the end of the night, like a little Diet Coke. And you're like, this is a placebo, but also I'm still pissed. You don't realise how much you've drunk. So it's still like in your system. So you're still like having a dance, enjoying the tunes, enjoying the chat, whatever.
Yeah.
Great.
So I'm going to try from now on to just towards the end of the night go on to water, because I do think that is probably the best way to do it.
Yeah, or like your first drink not be an alcoholic one, and just said, you know what, I'm a bit parched or a bit tired, get me a Diet Coke while I just boom, boom, boom. And then you're a drink behind already, so that's quite good. Oh, well done. I'm going to implement the drinking water game. I'm quite good at always getting the water.
Make it an announcement.
Yeah, make it an announcement. Because then when you piss, it's like really fun, and you're like, oh my God. Everyone drink.
Yeah. It's like, guys, announcement, water, and you can just neck it. You just get it down, shots of water.
Down it. Yeah, I love it. Oh, so wild these days.
Saviour.
Absolute saviour. I think I fell over at the weekend, actually. Which is never good, is it?
Couldn't listen back to the voice note you sent me. You were sending me voice notes drunk, weren't you? Have you managed to listen back?
No, I recorded more videos that I was going to send you as well, and I found them on my phone. But none of them are of me. They're all of my friends, like dancing and then going, "Where's Lee?" You know, work it a little. I think that's the one I sent you. When everyone, you've got to pretend you've got a cane, haven't you? When you do Liberty X. Actually, a guy with a cane walked in as we were doing that, and we were like, do you think he wants to join in? It was a friend of one of our party, actually, so, you know, we could ask him. But he didn't let us use it.
Well, I also got a message from Ben, who you were out with.
Oh, excellent.
And I think he was like, where are you? And then that was at like 8:30. And then at 10 to 10...
This is what we're talking about, bottomless brunch. 8:30, we're annihilated by this point. Been drinking since 12.
It's ludicrous behaviour, isn't it? It's absolutely ludicrous behaviour. So I got... And these messages came through all separately. So every line is separate.
Really
separate
good.
Message. So I opened my phone and I had about 10 messages from him saying, Lily...
Most you've had all year, that.
Yeah. Lily, seriously, honestly, actually, desperately, functionally, genuinely, rawly, hard, fucking hard, bare, fucking bare, like a slur, slut, what? And I put, oh my God, come to freedom. Obviously ignored everything he said. I just put, come to freedom. He put, we're not common enough for freedom.
We'd already been there. That day.
Oh, had you?
Happy hour.
Yeah, great. I put, we have a booth, and he just put, do I look like I'm interested in a booth? So it is quite... The next day when I was rereading the messages back, it saddened me because I think he would have been in quite a funny mood from the sounds of it.
He
Serious
was
Ben.
On form. He was so good. It was like one of those nights because we were all like reunited, and we had a friend down from up north. But when
was
we were
everyone
like
giddy?
Everyone was so giddy. We'd had the big catch-ups, and then we went into a bar, and it was just us at first when they were playing Liberty X. So we're dancing around, and that's when we were just like, how do we level up? How do we level up? One of the party had been travelling for work, very tired. Roshni, friend of the pod, hi. So she took us to that next level because she was like, I either need to go home or somehow level up. And she went, get me a vodka Red Bull. And then I thought it was a good idea for us all then to have vodka Red Bulls. So we all had about 3 or 4, but that leveled us up. So you met us at vodka Red Bull territory.
Right, yeah. Okay.
So it was fun. It was good times.
What time did you get in?
We got on the tube, happy as Larry, and got in at about midnight. Not bad.
Oh, well,
that's 12
not
hours.
too
That's
bad.
out for 12 hours because we met at 12 at Dean Street. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, we had a relatively late bottomless brunch, actually. It wasn't really a brunch. It was, it started
that's
at
quite
half
good,
4,
a late
so we
one.
were quite good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise because you say to yourself, well, we'll do bottomless brunch, and then we'll be home by like 7. You're never home by 7. You're just out.
Yeah.
So was on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being your worst ever hangover, what was that yesterday?
Do you know what?
Oh, not yesterday, sorry. We're recording this on Tuesday, so it would have been on Sunday.
Yeah. Well, I had to go to Brighton on a rail replacement. Can you even deal?
I'm done. I'm out.
See ya then. So I got on a half an hour train to Three Bridges, and then I got on a 45-minute coach to Brighton, and then I had to get on a small connecting train to Portslade. But Pride of Britain, Wife of Britain award, because Freddie had a play on in Brighton, like a school had picked up like a published play of his, and he went to watch it. So that I just had to get back up and at him. I was still pissed, put the same outfit on as the night before, bit of makeup, some loud music, cup of tea, ready to go.
Well, sometimes I must say, when you have to do something, you can almost force yourself out of that hangover, can't you?
I think it's better, yeah, because you just can't think about it, because I'm like, I have to do this, so off I go, off I toddle. So then that's why yesterday when I was texting you being like, how's the hangover? Because I want to die. It's because it was like a culmination of the whole weekend. It hit me right in the face on Monday. But on a scale of 1 to 10, Lee, I would say a 6, actually. I wasn't being sick.
A 6?
Yeah, because a bad one for me is like when you're lying in bed and you literally, your stomach lining wants to fall out, you know. I'd rather the anxiety where I can go out into the world than where you're like bedbound.
Yeah, I think when you're hitting the 8 out of 10, that's where you don't really leave bed for the majority of the day. I think a 10 out of 10 is where you just stay in bed all day. Yeah. And you're vomiting and you just can barely eat. I mean, I've had one of them once. Have you ever had the hangover where you are in the bathroom, for example, and I won't give descriptions of what's happening, but things aren't going well in the bathroom.
Yeah, you can reference our illness episode for that from season 1, everyone, if you've missed out on that.
Oh, God, yeah. But you think to yourself, this is the day I die. Like, I've had it before where I think, I'm going to choke, I'm going to choke to death. This is the day I die, over a toilet bowl. Like, this is not okay.
Yeah,
they're 10 out of 10s for me.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I've had that before. I had a couple in lockdown,
and even
actually,
really
you couldn't
bad.
Go out.
I'm absolutely mortified over the terrible one I had in lockdown.
Yeah.
When I literally, people were like, "What did you do?" I was like, "I was in my kitchen drinking wine and whiskey. Like, that is all I did."
Me too. Embarrassing.
Do you ever look back at lockdown 1 and think we weren't okay? We were not okay. We've definitely been some sort of level of traumatised from what happened to us.
It was an out-of-body experience. It didn't happen.
It really was. They truly were unprecedented times. And I'm missing precedented times at the minute, I have to say. We've gone from one to the other, and I know we're not going to discuss it massively, but I can't bear what's going on in the world. I just can't do it.
Me neither. We put, like, when we were met at the weekend, like, one of my friends texted me and she was like, oh God, I need to pull myself together and get ready. I've just been crying at the news. And I was like, I've not watched it because I was crying yesterday. I was like, can we please not talk about it? Especially if we had a drink, we'll all just be sat around the table crying. So we made an agreement to lightly touch on it at the beginning and then just have a day where we all forget, because it's the only day we'll all see each other for months, which is really selfish and awful, isn't it? Because, first world problems and all that shite. But honestly, it's so overbearing, isn't it? It's like, bringing you to tears to watch the news.
I'm also a little bit like doubly overly thinking of what I put online, because sometimes you're just a bit like, I'll post a tweet and then you're like, oh, this is just
seems so frivolous
about a club card, and it's frivolous. But then at the same time, it's like, well, what do? Do you just shut everything down in your whole life? Like, it's a weird balance of trying to find ways to talk about it, and then also carry on with life as we know it. It's very, very odd.
It's all very weird, isn't
but
it?
I am truly, I'm craving some precedented times. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I mean,
they've got to be
we'd have
coming
been
our
like,
way.
do you know what?
Sure.
Yeah, something's got to be happening. Although I said that in 2020, the start of 2020, I was like, this is my year, guys. And fucking hell, we're 2 years on.
Never do tweets like that. You can never. You're not allowed anymore because you're asking for trouble. Like.
No, what I'm going to do next year is I'm going to tweet, this year is going to be terrible, guys. Wink, wink. And then
Nudge,
it'll be
nudge.
good.
Yeah, and then the precedented times, bam, in your face, the back, like you wouldn't believe.
Reverse psychology worked on those precedented times.
Whoop, whoop. Yeah. Oof. How, see this now, I'm overanalyzing. I'm like, oh, let's go, I'll go back to ask you about your worst hangover. But it just seems so insensitive, doesn't it? Being like, anyway, back to us. Oh, you just can't win with yourself.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, a lot of people as well. If we were all talking about it, which we are to a certain extent, but if it was all consuming us, or you just wouldn't be able to escape it. And actually, sometimes you just have to for your own mental health.
Guys, we want a positive PMH.
Yeah, but actually, I feel. I know it's all. We will wrap this up about Ukraine as well, because I also feel a little bit like not fully qualified to even give an opinion on it. But I'm hopeful that it will ultimately, despite everything that's awfully going wrong, I'm hopeful that ultimately it will inspire change, positive change for good. So, and actually, the good thing to do if people are struggling is to find the lovely stories, like that young girl singing "Let It Go," and looking at all the things people have done, all the money raised. My friend Yasmin did like a row-a-thon where they all rowed for like, I don't know how long, but it was a long time. I mean, Jesus, if it's longer than 20 minutes, I think it's a long time. And just everyone raising money and doing things like, my sister sent a message saying that my niece's school, and they're in like year 3 or 4 or something, like they'd all raised money selling cakes and stuff and wanted it like to buy those shoe boxes for Ukrainian refugees and stuff. So there are nice stories to focus on.
More heartwarming stuff, and get involved in them because that makes you feel good. There's loads of stuff in Stoke Newington actually that we've done, like just local communities. And we're a bit yummy mummy territory around here, so of course they've got an Instagram just for Stoke Newington. But actually you see every business, it's actually brought all the businesses in the Stoke Newington together because everyone's doing this big drive to like collect money and also like clothes and stuff. So you're like, just walk down there, takes me 10 minutes. And then you see the boxes that they've collected and you're like, whoa, can't believe this small part of London has done that, So that's quite nice.
Yeah. But back to me. No, it's awful, isn't it? You get, but I do feel the same now. But back to hangover management.
HM.
What's the worst hangover I've ever had? It will probably have to. Well, that one, the whiskey and wine one during lockdown was certainly up there because when you're about an 8 or a 9 out of 10 hangover, it usually goes around 6 p.m. at the latest.
Yeah.
But
because if you're vomiting, you've got it out. You know what I mean? You're getting it out.
Yeah.
So it's all right. You might be in the pub by 8 p.m.
I have had one before though, where still at 10 p.m. I've been ill and it's not been good, and that's where I've thought this is alcohol poisoning.
Stomach pump vibe.
But in fact, that time I came to meet you guys for a bottomless brunch and I couldn't do the bottomless. I was severely hungover on that day.
Yeah, I know when you're bad because like you can't eat, and I was like that yesterday where I was like, I know if I just eat some carbs and some starch, like it's really going to cure me, but you're just so slow because you're just a bit shaky. And you're just a bit watery-mouthed and a bit anxious. So everything's taking you longer and you don't have the patience to finish that meal. And that's what you were like that day. And I was like, oh, no, he's in a bad way. Because you were like, I can't even eat a chip. I can't even finish a chip,
Yeah, it was a lot, and I was just like, and also, you know, when I'm bad, because what will happen is the waitress will come up and go, "Can I get you a drink?" And I'll go, "Could I get a glass of sparkling water, a glass of still water, a full fat Coke, a black Americano, and a lemonade?" Because I'm literally like,
That's exactly
one
what
of
I do
these
as
has to work. One of these, please, has to
That's
work,
me.
because otherwise I'm screwed.
Yeah.
Oh,
And there's no room on the
fresh
table.
apple juice usually
fresh
helps.
apple-
Yeah.
Mine's a full fat
Fresh
Coke and a juice and
full
a
fat
and a
Coke
bottle
if
of
I'm
water.
really bad.
Yeah.
I remember at work when I'd be hungover, which actually was more times than I should have been. But
Everyone's
if
hungover
I
at work.
was-
Let's just put it out there. Everyone is always hungover at work. Midweek, anything.
Yeah.
Always happens.
And I remember someone saying to me once, "Ooh, I've never seen you drinking a Coke, a can of Coke." And I went,
It's a giveaway, innit? Giveaway.
I said, "If I'm drinking a can of Coke, I'm hungover." And they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh," I was like, "It's full fat, can of Coke, I am hungover." It is very rare that I will drink a can of Coke not hungover.
Yeah, me too. And like, I used to work in an office as well, and they used to have like fridges full, and people go down there every day. Diet Coke goes all day, every day, because there's no calories in it, so people are always drinking that in the afternoon. And then I would always like go sneak down for the full fat, and that's when people knew, and I'd be like, "Oh no, it's not. I'm fine." I'd be like, "Do you just want to share it with me? Actually, I don't want the full can. You know, it's cut full of the calories." But really, I was like desperate. I could have downed the full fat Coke. It is
See,
a
I
giveaway.
wouldn't ever have Diet Coke. I don't like the taste of it.
Well, me neither, but Coke Zero is a good... now
It
on a
is
hangover,
actually, right.
I'll have a Coke Zero, and it is only if I'm really bad, I'll have a full fat. That's the next... They've put a new step in for my hangovers, Coke. Thank you, Coca-Cola Company. Yeah, they've put a new step ladder in, so I've got a stepping stone.
Thank you, Coca-Cola Company. Well, I'm sure they'll appreciate that. Thank you. I'm sure they're listening.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
We'll send them it.
Sponsored by
But
Coke.
Barocca as well. Barocca's
The Guarana Boost.
Usually they're
You love that
the
thing.
Guarana Boost. Yeah.
Everyone needs a bit of G
Yeah.
in their life. Bit of Guarana. Someone
And-
said something before. What was it? Can't remember now. Carry on.
No, that usually helps, and if it doesn't, sometimes I've had two before. I've doubled it up, and that's been like, right, that's big time, that's serious now.
Big time.
And sometimes I've had two, and that hasn't even helped, and I've gone, there is nothing that will help this.
Nothing's going to
nothing
save
at
me.
all.
I can't stand
And
that.
I have Guarana Boost Baroccas in every bag.
Do you?
just in case.
That's like me.
So
People come to me and they're
yeah.
like, "What have you got in your bag?" And I'm like, "Antihistamine, Rene, paracetamol, ibuprofen." Maybe not always Barocca, but they know they're gonna be able to come to me for the prescription
Do you
drug
have to
needs.
take Rennies then? Because I have some people who also have to do that, where like they have to have a Rennie on a night out because they've been drinking.
You get an acid reflux. Yeah. Do you know what? I've not have one in ages, but it's if normally you were out drinking the night before and you got overexcited and then you've got a bottomless booked in. You arrive at the bottomless and then it's shit Prosecco, so it's so acidic, and then you're like, I can't drink this, but I've got an hour and a half to drink as many bottles as possible. So then that's when the Rennie comes out. That's when it comes into play.
Right. Okay.
You know,
I've never
acidic.
had to have a Rennie.
Have you not? Rennie or a Gavi?
No.
Gaviscon? Sandra's always got one of them in her
No.
bag. I've got a really good
Really?
story about when my mum and dad were really hungover once and we didn't go to school. She'd be mortified because she listens to the pod, old Sandra. So Freddie loves this story, weirdly. One day we woke up and it was a really bright day like today, and I could hear the next door neighbours playing outside, and I was like, is it not a school day? And I looked out and I opened the window, you know, those really big open windows. I was like, Gab, Josh, I was like, are you not in school? What time is it? And they were like, no, my mum's really hungover, so we've got the day off. And I was like, oh. Then I went into Paul's room, my brother was in bed. I was like, what the hell? Because my mum hadn't woke us up. Went into mum and dad's room and they were like, oh, don't worry, just go out and play, just leave us. You're fine, we'll give you the day off. And we were like, what? So then me and Paul got dressed, went outside, we were playing with the next door neighbours. And what had happened was they used to have barbecues all the time when we were kids. And this one night, they're just topping up the wine and you never see it ever go down, so no one ever knows. And my dad's singing with their granddad and all the usual stuff, and we just used to love it. But it used to happen all the time in summer, and this one time just got out of control, and my mum and dad couldn't get out. Like, no one got out of bed. And that was before mobile phones, so like the next door neighbour didn't text my mum and dad to say we're not going in either, kind of thing. Oh, it was fucking great. So we were like,
God.
Snow day, like, kind of thing. It was really good. She'd been mortified. I've just told that story.
Well, I love the fact that she didn't take you to school because she'd had too much to drink. Brilliant.
They probably just lied and said that we were ill.
Yeah, because I was going to say, it's like, what did the teachers ask the next day? Like, why were you and your neighbours?
Maybe she dragged herself out of bed to make the phone call because she knew, you know what I mean, or something, and then just like fell back into bed. But it's so good.
And you know what? They will have been beating themselves up for the rest of the week. When that hangover's gone, they'd have been like, I can't believe... They would not have drunk for a while after that, I bet.
No,
because,
totally.
when drinking almost scars you and choices you make when drunk scar you a little bit, they'll have been like that. Well, listen, we're not judging. We're not judging at all. No. It worked out well for you.
Worked out really well. My mum was always strict. She never let you off school either. If you were sick, she really checked that you were sick before you had to. Oh, yeah. You could get the day off. We had to be
like on death's door. We had to properly be
us as
on death's door. Because my older sister as well, if I remember rightly, she used to in secondary school just like tell the matron, because we had a matron.
I was going to say matron. What the hell?
Yeah, it's weird. We had matron.
Ooh, matron. Like, literally, did you just go around saying that?
If you were ill, you had to go to the matron, and she'd it was like an on-school nurse, but we called her the matron.
That's so bizarre.
Yeah, and we also used to have this thing at school, which I never used to think was a terrible thing. I think I've said this on the pod before, but at primary school, they used to blow the whistle at 1:00 when we were at lunch, and they'd blow the whistle and go, 1:00, medicine time.
And, you went to a weird school.
I know, and everyone who had to take medicine would go and take medicine, and we'd all be like, "Oh, what?" Very odd. Maybe my school was in like Shutter Island or something.
You just dreamt it all. It never really happened.
Yeah. No. So yeah, my sister used to like tell the matron she had period pains and stuff like that, and my mum would be like, no, don't send her home, like she had to be on death's door before to be sent home. But she used to lie, my sister. She had probably the tiniest bit of pain, she just didn't want to go to science.
She knew science. It was always on a Thursday afternoon when
fell
double
off my
science
chair.
Oh, did you?
Oh, double science. Which was your worst subject if you saw it on the timetable?
RE. Everyone hated RE. Because our teacher couldn't control the class, so she was dead boring. She was just so boring. Also, one of the science teachers had really bad breath, and she was really strict, so we hated that as well. But you didn't get her all the time. Do you know what I mean?
My history teacher had terrible breath.
Didn't matter where you sat in the class either. It'd get to you.
It'd always get to you. Yeah, it would always get to you. Yeah, mine, I didn't particularly love physics, if I remember rightly. I quite liked biology and I quite liked chemistry, but I never liked physics.
It's just another maths lesson, isn't it, really? So that's not cool.
Yeah, but I quite liked maths. I used to be really good at equations. I could do equations within about 5 minutes, and he would allocate about 30 minutes for the equations to be done. So I used to just sit and chill in for like 25 minutes because I'd already done my equations. It was great.
Love it. I used to quite like equations. Like, I did use quite like maths, actually. But yeah, no, none of the others. RE was so dull. They were married as well, the two RE teachers.
Oh my God. Oh no. My RE teacher was married to our PE teacher.
Oh, really? Oh. No, ours were married, and I think he used to teach at another school, and then we got combined with the schools. And then when the other school were like, oh, do you not like Harry? We love it. Our teacher's dead cool. I was like, oh, God, she's clearly the boring one in the relationship. And everyone was dead naughty in the class because they were so bored. But he was like really cool, apparently, and I never got him. Fuming.
That's annoying. Maybe you'd have been a devout Christian if things had been different.
Maybe. We weren't a religious school, so you got to learn about everything. So it's actually I do remember quite a bit from RE and all the other different religion. So that was quite fun.
Did you always have to do a language?
Always had to, I didn't mind French and Spanish, and then I did German for a year, but then
Oh,
the
you
German
did
teacher.
Spanish?
Yeah, because
We
I was in
didn't have
top
the
set,
choice of
so I
doing
got
Spanish.
I got to do two.
Oh wow! Okay,
Yeah.
we only had French or German in our school. We didn't have
We had
Spanish.
German, and then she left, and I think it was because she was having an affair with someone else, but then they replaced her with a Spanish teacher. I know, escandalo.
Hola.
I would say
Escandalo.
scandal. I would say scandal in German, but I don't know what that is. So
No.
answers
Did
on a
you used to have
postcard.
to do the you used to have to do the songs. Quelle est la date de ton anniversaire? Quelle est la date de ton anniversaire? Did you ever sing that?
No, we didn't. Oh, I wish we had. No one would have sung it in our
What
school.
about oh, I used to love it. I used to love Bonjour monsieur, bonjour madame, bonjour mademoiselle. Je m'appelle français. Je m'appelle Helen.
It
Dupuy.
sounds like a cut song from Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah,
Like
it does
Lumiere's in
And
there,
then-
like
Then we used to also have a German one, and that would go, Hallo, wie heißt du? Ich heiße Gabby. Guten Tag, Gabby. I'm going to find the songs. Honestly,
please.
they were hits.
Who's Gabby?
Oh, some German.
Some German woman.
I don't know.
Could be a man. Don't know.
could be. Gabrielle.
We never
Either
sang.
one.
It'd be awful in our school if we would have sang. It just would have been a load of like
Oh, really?
kids with really Haydock accents. Like doing our oral exams, you'd be like, you get taken into some cupboard, which sounds awful, doesn't it? You know, to like soundproof it so they could record.
Wait, hold on. You got taken into a cupboard to do oral. What kind of school was
Excuse
this?
me? Who matron? Yeah. Used to go in like the stationery cupboard because they'd record it on a cassette tape so that like she could give you a mark after.
Yeah.
But like she'd answer your questions, you didn't know what questions you were gonna get, so you had to like whatever. But it was like, I always remember now, I look back, it must have been so funny because it would have been like no one actually did the French accent because it's not cool to do the French accent. So it'd all just be top set who were all really good speaking French, but in like a yicker accent. So it was like
100%.
Jim Appel, Lauren, J. Dewey or Tennis, like you know.
Oh my god. So we had this girl in our school called Helen. And she was struggling at French, so I think her parents got her this private French tutor that she had like after school. So she started like doing good, and that was exactly the same. And what we used to have to do is she'd be like, right, open your textbooks, and or she used to go, fermez le cahier de brouillon, which was like open your rough book or something. And
Bouillon, put the stock
anyway,
in. Just put the stock in your shoe.
yes. So then we used to have to take it in turns as we went round the class reading out text, and it would be like, je m'appelle, je suis on like it would be just so not French. And then Helen, bless her, had obviously been excelling at these. No, yeah, Helen. And she went, I will never forget. And she just went, it turned to her and she was like, non m'aimons. And the whole class absolutely pissed. Non m'aimons. And we were like, non m'aimons. Like, I mean, it probably verged on racism, but it was so funny.
I bet she, like,
then
for
our
her
teacher-
exam got a shit mark as well because she didn't do the accent, but she could. But just for pride.
I still remember my French oral exam. Je m'appelle Lise, ça s'écrit L-E-E. J'habite Cleethorpes, près de Humberston. Je suis anglais. Mon anniversaire est le 16 juillet. L'année dernière, ma famille et moi mangeait au McDo.
You were not doing it in that
Mental.
accent, though. You were doing it in your little
No.
Baby Grimsby accent, I reckon.
Je m'appelle Lee, ça s'écrit L-E-E. J'habite Cleethorpes, près de Humberston. and
I love that you
also
learnt it like
remember-
a script as well. Like, you didn't actually know what you were saying. You were like, I'm going to treat this like my next acting job.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Well, no, because she said, she said, what did you do for your last birthday? And I said, we went for a lovely meal out, and she went, well, just say manger au McDo, because that was easier, because it was like I went to McDonald's, but I wanted to be like manger au restaurant Michelin starred. But I was like, fine, I'll just settle with McDonald's.
God, who do you think I am?
When I was doing my French oral exam, my teacher had the piece of paper that I had in front of her.
Right.
And so I sat down, and you were meant to memorize it, and I just could read it upside down, because I can read upside down. So I was going, je m'appelle Lisa, reading it. Anyway, she spotted me reading it, and she pulled the piece of paper up and like concealed it. I was like, you bitch. And so then
was then it see-through?
Yeah, so I carried on, and then later on in the exam, I stumbled over like a paragraph. I couldn't remember it, and she just slowly put the piece of paper down on the table and allowed me to read it.
Oh my God, it's probably because she knew you were doing well.
Redeemed yourself. Yeah, she's like, well done. She didn't want me to take the piss, but she helped me out.
Yeah.
And I got an A.
Did you? What did I get in French in the end? I think I got a B. In French in the end.
Oh.
I know.
Well,
it was the oral that let me down.
And the oral let down.
Because as an adult, I've rectified that. So.
Oh, good. She gets an A every time. She gets the D now. And
I'm having about it. Oh God, awful. My mother listens to this.
She's got the D in oral. Oh, don't worry. She'll have turned it off after you outed her for.
She's boycotted Fab Life now. She's like, wasn't me. She'll probably text me and be like, "This is what really happened. It didn't happen like that."
Oh well, hopefully next week we won't be suffering from the hangover. I'm going to have an easy week, so I'm
me too,
babes. Easy, ma'am.
I'm busy with work, so taking it easy,
sure.
breezy. Famous last words.
Shit face by Friday. By Friday. All right then. Well, we hope you have enjoyed episode 4. Thank you so much for all your lovely comments and everything. We do read them all. I hate it when people say, thank you so much for all your comments. I've read them all. I can't possibly get through replying to them all, but rest assured I do read them. You're like, oh, fuck off.
But you did just say that, everyone.
Yeah, but I also did just say that. But then I heard myself say it back, and I thought, I can't be one of those people.
I'm just going to hold in that vomit for a second. But genuinely do always DM us and comment, because we do read it and reply and laugh our tits off, because normally it's a take the piss DM if it is in the DM, so that's quite nice.
Oh, and we totally haven't read out the life hacks that people have sent in, so we'll do that next week.
We'll save them up, we'll collate and we'll actually plan that bit. That might help. We couldn't do it this week because of the old hangover, guys, so soz about that.
Yeah. Sorry. All right, well, this has been episode 4 of Fab Life
with Lauren and Lee.